Hey, how you guys doing? I'm Pitmaster JW, the competition barbecue team, JW Barbecue in the Wing. And today I am going to show you how to trim a full rack of spare ribs down to a St. Louis style cut, and show you how to get some rib tips out of this while I'm doing this. So don't throw none of this stuff away, because either you can save and make some rib tips out of it, or you can take it and grind it up and add it up to some sausage, just like you do the Boston butt in the video that I showed you about the Boston butt. So to start with here, I have a Smithfield 4-rack of spare ribs. Okay, and I'm going to cut this out real quick here and get started. And like I said, I'm going to turn this into a St. Louis style cut spare rib. And I'm going to trim it off and get the rib tips, show you how to get your rib tips from this. Now, if you was doing a competition, you definitely wouldn't want to cook a whole rack of ribs, because that wouldn't make a pretty sight, trying to get the 6 slabs of ribs that you need to put in that turn-in box. So let me take this plastic here that the ribs came in, put it in a trash bag, move it out of the way. I'm going to get some paper towels here and pat this dry real quick. So you guys just bear with me. And a couple of things that you're going to need to do is have a nice cutting board. I got a towel up under this so it won't slide when I'm trying to cut it, to keep the knife keep from slipping and cutting myself. The next thing you want to do, you want to get your paring knife so you can get up under that membrane. And just in case you have a little trouble using your boning knife, you can also get a butcher knife to cut off the excess meat that you're not going to use in your St. Louis style trimming. And like I say, this is a Smithfield 4-rack of spare ribs here. It's not the biggest one, but it's one that I want to work with today. The same thing would be if you got a larger one, you would use the same technique. Okay, now this portion here is going to be your rib tip portion. So when I trim this, I'm going to show you all of this by the time I'm finished trimming this. Now the first thing I want to do is turn this bad boy over to the back. This portion here, this white fatty skin, is called your membrane. We got to do away with that, because if you leave that on, some people do, they just make slices in it, you know, and keep it to keep the ribs together just in case they overcook it falling off the bone. That's one of the reasons why they do that. One reason that I say take it off, because if you want your rub to penetrate the rib, then you need to remove that membrane, because it is not going to cook down and disappear as you cook. It will still be there when you finish, and it's a real tough, nasty bite. So I got my boning knife here. I got a 6-inch boning knife. I'm going to lift this up, which they call the sleeve. It's on almost every 4-rack, unless the butcher cut it down real fine. You want to go up under there, stick your knife just above the rack of rib itself, and just cut along the bottom of it without cutting into the rack of ribs as close as possible. You want to save that too. I'm going to show you in a moment how you can use that. Okay, I'm going to set that to the side just for a second. Let me turn around here. There we go. Now, the other thing you want to do, you want to come down to about the 4th or 5th bone, whichever one is the longest in your rack of ribs, and put your finger there. That is where you're going to make your incision to start cutting out your St. Louis style trim. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 and 5 look about the same. So right about here is where I am going to start making my St. Louis cut at. Okay, I got my boning knife. I might have stepped out of the picture just a little bit. Okay, and you go straight across, doing just like that. And turn this around a little bit here so you guys can still see. And I am going to go straight to the other end in a straight line, just like that. Now, this I want to show you in a moment about the rib tips. But in the meantime, come back up here and trim it up just a little bit. I want to go up under here and get this membrane off. So I got my paring knife for that. Just lift the skin, get away, get away, get away. I'm outside, you can tell. get up under here, stick that knife up under that skin and lift it out the best you can. Sometimes just jerk it off with your hands. Other time you can use a paper towel to get up under that skin, lift it up a little bit, and just pull up under. And this one doesn't want to do that, but hang in there. Here we go. Get up under that skin, pull on it like such, and bam, there go your membrane. Yeah, put this in the trash. Okay, want to come back, and now I want to go up top on the back, still on the back side, and trim away some of this fatty skin here, because I don't need that, and it's not gonna render down like I want to while it's cooking. So you can come up here, you can either leave it on or cut it off, but I cut mine off. See all that fat that I got in my hand there? Okay, there's a little piece there I'm gonna get. Bam! Put that out of the way in the trash bag. Now the next thing I want to do, I want to come up here and push down on my ribs to trim away that additional fat and meat is sticking out from the bone, because by the time it's finished cooking, it's going to be all fried up, and it's not going to look pretty when you go slice your ribs, and you want some nice looking slices there. So you want to get rid of that. Paper towel and got in the way. I'm going to flip this around to the opposite end, and generally when I'm doing my ribs in competition, I use about 10 of the slabs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to come down here to the 10th bone. Okay. Now if you was at home, you just use the whole thing. But I'm showing you if I was doing this in a competition, because the bones get smaller as you get to the other end. So you're not going to be able to use those in the box because they won't be even up like you want to. So you go up in there and just slice that off. Okay. Now don't throw that away. Put that over there with the other meat you just cut off. And then you come back with your knife once again to square that up. Okay. Now you want to try to square this up as smooth as possible. Remember, if you're at home, you're not going to do all this because you're going to want all your meat. But I'm doing this if I was getting ready to do a competition, and I want my slabs to try to be as even as possible. I'm going to flip it over one more time on the back. Got a little piece here on this end that I want to trim up real quick. Okay, let me put this in the trash. Now, I am finished with the back. I'm going to flip it over to the top. Now, there's not a lot to do on the top here. I got a little excess fat here on this end. So I'm just going to go ahead on and get up under there without cutting into the meat and trim that little excess fat off there. Okay. And go real gentle right there. You don't want to get too deep into the meat. Okay, because you will bleed out, and you still want to try to keep the meat as even as possible. Now looking at this, come back, do just a little trimming. Okay, there you have it. One perfectly cut St. Louis style spare rib out of a whole rack of spare ribs. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. This one is ready. So you can do one or two things. We can go ahead and season it now and get ready and let it rest for a little while to give your rub time to soak in. Or you can put it on the grill after you season and go ahead and cook it. Or I want to show you another trick you can do in just a moment. But let me get over here to where I cut off that portion of the rib and show you how I'm going to work these rib tips. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to come up in here and cut around this big old bone here. That's on the end because it's kind of hard to cut through it. My paper towel just keep on getting in the way on it. So let me see, can I turn this around so it won't be in you guys' way. There we go. Okay. Now, this portion is the portion that I trimmed off from the rib to turn it into a St. Louis style cut. Now I want to work around and hook up some nice old rib tips here after eliminating some of this fat and silver skin on it. And this, my friend, is some good eating too. Rib tips. Yes, it is. Now you can either leave it whole or slice it in half 2 or 3 times, whichever way you want to do it. In this case, cut that off to make it even there. Got just a little bit more silver skin here I want to get rid of, and there it is. Put this in the trash. That fat, flip it back over. Got a little fat here I want to get rid of. Okay, let me go up under here. Try to get as much of this fat as I possibly can. Okay, now what you have now is what we generally like to call the rib tip. It's the tip of the rib. And what I'm going to do, I am going to go in with my butcher knife and slice it up just a little bit. One more time. Woo. Oh, table's not real steady. But anyway, I'm going in, slicing it up, and make 2 nice tips out of it. Okay, there I am. I'm going to put that knife up in there real hard, but this will grizzle, you know, so you can go ahead and cut through that. Be careful not to cut yourself. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Nice old rib tips. See the bones in them? Just like you would buy in the store, but you made some yourself. And then you just cut off the little small ends, because they'll cook real fast. But don't throw it away. Put it in the other stuff and use it, like I say, for sausage seasoning, one or the other. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just made some rib tips after trimming up a St. Louis whole spare, or after trimming up a whole spare rib into a St. Louis spare rib. There you have your rib tips. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now you can season these up however you want to. Put them in the oven, bake them, or put them on the grill. Some Pitmasters like to use them as what they call Pitmaster choice, Pitmaster preference, you know, so they can get a taste of what their ribs probably taste like while they're cooking and stuff, instead of cutting into their spare rib to get a slab, you know, and mess up the count and stuff. But anyway, like I say, I'm Pitmaster JW, competition barbecue team, JW Barbecue and Wing, and I have just showed you how to take a whole spare rib and turn it into a St. Louis style spare rib, and to how also take those trimming and turn them into rib tips. And once again, there's your St. Louis spare rib that I just finished trimming up. It's ready to go. And that's all you got to do. Like I say, if you're ready to cook it right now, then by all means go ahead. If not, here's the other thing that I was going to tell you about doing. You can take the same spare rib right now. If you're not going to put it in the grill, I'll put it on the grill. Get you one of those Hefty's 2.5 gallon freezer bags. Just like such. Okay. Come over here. Take that spare rib. Take it and put it inside that bag. Just like I'm doing right now. Let me move this cutting board out of the way so I won't get this stuff all over my freezer bag. And set this behind me. And put it inside that freezer bag. Let's see how that fit. Wipe my hands off real quick. You can throw If you're not going to use the rib tips, just take the rib tips, put them inside the bag as well. And wipe my hands once again. And then take this, fold it over, squeeze all the air out, as least much air as you can get out of the bag. Okay. And, whoa, sorry about that. And there you go. Put it in the freezer. Tag it right on what it is when you did it. And then whenever you're ready to use it, just take it out, let it unthaw. Once again, season it. Let it come to room temperature first. Then season it. Get ready to put it on the grill. And enjoy yourself. Okay? Once again, I'm Pitmaster JW, Competition Barbecue Team. I'm glad you guys decided to stop in. And as always, I ask you to hit that like button and also that subscribe button. So the next time I decide to upload something, you'll know that JW just uploaded another video. And you might want to check it out. Could be a nice barbecue tip you might want to try. So until the meantime, I wish you guys best and always enjoy. I'm out of here. Peace.